Clannis Noonan gets the word from the stables and trainers in the first word from 7 a.m. Then from 8, the heavyweight Melbourne panel. The form, tips, smart plays and cracking best bets from Mark Hunter, David Gately and Warren Huntley. Plus, the reveal of Saturday's Uni Boosts from Unibet. What a start to your Saturday punt. The first word and the Melbourne form panel from 7 a.m. on RSN Racing and Sport.
At Sportsbet, we salute those who have a crack, like local footy coach Terry, who's simplifying game day tactics.
Now let's get out there and score more goals!
Yeah, that's a pretty good point.
That was easy. Just like when Terry wants to have a crack at an AFL same-game multi, he uses the Sportsbet app. Sportsbet, proud supporters of having a crack. Conditions apply.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
Australasia's best race fillies and broodmares are set to shine at the Magic Millions National Broodmare Sale at the Gold Coast. Proven stakes producers and young mares in foal at the Southern Hemisphere's premier breeding stock auction. A Tissue, Belclair, Climbing Star and the explosive Zoo Gotcha are among 150 black-tie performers catalogued for sale. There's 11 Group 1 winners, 8 straight from the track. The Magic Millions National Broodmare Sale, May 27 and 28. For more, visit magicmillions.com.au.
Hong Kong is racing tonight.
Racing!
That's right, they're racing tonight at Happy Valley. You can follow the star Aussie trainers and riders like David Hayes. And if you bet on Hong Kong with the tab, you're diving into Hong Kong's massive world pools, known for stable odds and smoother payouts. Catch all the action on Sky Racing and streaming services. Hong Kong racing tonight. Presented by Hong Kong Jockey Club. Is this a bet you really want to make? For free and confidential support, visit gamblershelp.com.au.
It is a minute past midday at RSN Racing and Sport, and just before we get the grey areas underway, Michael Felgate's Bet365 boost bet today is in the first at Bendigo. Race 1, number 4, James Jono, Tom Stockdale on board for Archie Alexander, currently being seen at $2.50, boosted out to $3. James Jono, number 4, in the first at Bendigo is the boost bet.
On RSN Racing and Sport, it's time for the grey areas with Jason Adams and George Ferrugia.
The kid was a human dynamo.
Are you sure you're talking about George?
George of the jungle, friend to you and me.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Grey Areas, your dose of greyhound racing twice a week here on RSN as we build up to another big night at Sandown Park tomorrow night. My name is Jason Adams, as always, joined by the iconic one himself, George Ferrugia. A very good afternoon to you.
How are you, mate?
I'm well. How was Mother's Day? Did Cheryl get treated the way she should?
Always, mate. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, we went out to dinner and no, it was good. I bought her something that I thought she wanted, but she wanted something different. I got the instructions all wrong, but thank God I had the receipt.
Is that unusual for a day of its nature?
No, I'm usually a good gift giver, I have to admit. But she, doesn't matter. We got through it, mate. What about you? Did you spoil your lovely mum?
Yeah, all sorted. Went there for tea Sunday night, had a nice meal. So, Mickey Mouse.
Well done steak?
No, we didn't have a well done steak. What did we have?
Some paella?
I've got no idea. My memory is absolutely dreadful.
It's okay. You got a lot on your plate, mate, including this meeting from Sandown on Thursday.
It's going to be magnificent. John Henry, a good afternoon to you as well. And
g'day, guys.
Again, the umpires are under the hammer and always surrounding your mob, Collingwood. They're just full of drama and have been for decades.
No, no drama around Collingwood, mate. I've never heard of drama around Collingwood in the history of the club, ever.
No, not at all.
Magnificent organisation.
They are. I have to say, we do our obscure bet on Friday. But I can't believe Gold Coast are $1.50 against Hawthorn.
Should be shorter?
Yeah. Oh, mate, I've watched.
You just doubted your mob instantly, are you?
No, mate, I've watched them the last 3 weeks. They have just been going. And in fairness to Sam Mitchell, he's been the first to say, we are just going as a football club at the moment. And look, it's May, so that's fine. If it's happening in September, then you're in a little bit of trouble. But I think the Gold Coast in Darwin will just throw them in your multis. And we've got a couple of tips for Sandown, so we'll see how we go.
All right, we'll get stuck onto the real stuff soon, but TV series we wanted to highlight as well. Now, every TV series you mentioned to me, 2 seconds later, I can't remember it, but I got a text a couple of days ago saying, Mobland, brutal, but good.
Very good show. And I've had a few other people that I've suggested it to saying that I have binged the whole thing in one afternoon. So, Jace, just Paramount Plus yourself, get that, and you'll have Landman, which I told you about a long time ago, and you'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone, mate. Come on, you can do this for me. I know you're a darts man and that, but just, yeah.
So
now
which
that
is the
map's
one?
finished,
Hang on, if I'm picking one, because I'm legless with this.
Oh, Landman.
Okay, Landman. All right, you've had a big weekend, Georgie, on the tip at the Meadows.
Thank God for that kid. Is that what you're talking about? Or?
Oh, we'll get to that. But firstly, at the Meadows on Saturday night, here's Magic, Elite Intention, your 2 tips, both saluted.
Yeah.
They were good. And, of course, the obscure outlay, Carlton defeating St Kilda, Hawthorn defeating Melbourne, and most importantly, from your point of view, Richmond defeating West Coast.
Oh, my God. I was watching that game.
Where were you?
So nervous. I was at home and me and Nados were watching and really, really nervous. When he streamed out of the guts, the West Coast player, thank God he took that bounce. And I think it's Tom Brown. Is that kid's name from Richmond? If I see him in a pub one day, mate, he's not putting his hand in his pocket. He looked after me for $3.10. So, yeah.
And the Grey Areas audience, if you got involved in the obscure outlay, if you want to get involved in the text, 0416 90 50 52. Now, as well, we've created a new segment in the past couple of weeks called the Ferrugia Files. Now, you sent me a screenshot on Monday, George. Was it Monday?
Put your headphones on, George. You're going to need to hear this.
What's going on?
Was it Monday? Nevermind saluted at $9. You made me fully aware of that.
Yeah. Why do we need
You gave her some sort of push.
Yeah, we went each way, didn't we?
Yeah. Saluted. You also had a first starter on Monday, Q2 Parklands in Queensland. How did she go?
She went well. She won by 9 lengths.
Race 1, number 1, Tempting Dash, she was. Now, we've heard from my man Nathan Gretsch at Tab. She was $2.50 out the $2.90. $2.90 into $1.45. So, Georgie, I think you've got some explaining to do.
Is Nathan suggesting that that's my money?
No, he's just giving me an insight on market moves surrounding your greyhounds on debut.
I did say on Friday that she had some ability, that she could be a little bit funny at the boxes, and she did jump out really cleanly. So I'm getting information from the great man Tommy Savalas. She can be hit or miss at box rise, but she did everything right. So it's about time we took some money away from some of the corporates.
All right. If anyone out there just wondering what's going on here, take a listen to this.
Uh-oh.
It's Q2 Parklands, race 1, number 1, Tempting Dash.
Got ability, but he told me she just is smashing in the boxes, too overly keen, so we'll miss the start.
Racing, Tempting Dash clearly won the start. Look at Tempting Dash go, raced away into the back. 6 lengths away, Bert Maru, but it's all Tempting Dash. An impressive debut. Tempting Dash by 8 lengths. 29.68 was best here on Thursday night. Tempting Dash has run around 29 and 5.
G'day guys, Tom Savalas here. Hoping George passed on the mail. She's a faultless beginner, this girl. I'm pretty confident she'd run around the 29.5. Hope the loyal grey area listeners had something on.
There's a breakdown of communication here.
Seriously,
There is a breakdown of communication.
I am getting on the phone to Tommy Savalas as soon as I get out of this thing. He said to me, she's going to miss the kick. He's giving me trouble. Who broke her in? All this sort of stuff. That is the biggest stitch-up of all time.
I've never seen you take your headphones off so quickly.
Mate, just be transparent. Just be transparent with the audience.
I gave him a $9 winner on Monday, and then I said...
Each way chance.
Yeah, each way chance. The other one's got ability, I said.
Jeez, he's on the back foot, Johnny.
I didn't expect him to run that.
Extraordinary scenes in here, folks. Extraordinary scenes.
He's on the back foot.
You and Tommy Savalas. I have to... Oh, mate, I was serious. Look, I'm happy she won, but she did go better than what I thought.
She's gone better than the City Class meeting on Thursday.
Yeah, I said she's got a bit of ability. Yeah.
All right, magnificent. We'll get into another edition of the Ferrugia Files later on in the show. We'll get into the Ferrugia Files later on in the show.
You know what? I'm not going to say anything. That's why I asked if John had anything to do with it, because we did have some mail.
He did. He pressed the button to play it.
We did have some mail.
That's about all I had to do with it.
Well, that's okay. I'm going to let him go, because we did have some mail about his performance at the wedding a couple of weeks ago, and I'm not going to go there. I am not going to run with it.
Truly?
He's a bit confused by this.
Yeah. Something about...
Did you get the train home, John?
Yeah, did you get a train home, John, that day?
That's because one of my friend's wives, who'd promised to drive, she decided that it was probably... So we all caught the train. Because we are responsible grown-ups.
I'm not going to fall to your level, and especially Tom Savalas' level. I'll be having a conversation with him. Right, let's move on, shall we?
All right, let's get on with it.
Yes,
so
it's a busy day today.
Week 2 of the Sandown Cup is tomorrow night, and we've got heats of the Sandown Cup, and of course the 2 Group 1s being the Sapphire Crown and also the Harrison Dawson. We'll probably touch on them later on, given we gave them a good run last Friday, if you want to go listen back to that podcast. But the Sandown Cup heats themselves, George, I mean, we spoke a little bit in the couple of weeks leading up about events being advertised for greyhounds to prepare for this. Ends up, we've got a full set of 4 heats, which I think is a fair reflection of sometimes we can have concerns about the staying ranks. There hasn't been a lot of 700-metre racing at the city tracks recently, but this is pretty good.
We do. But in saying that, Jason, they're a little bit underwhelming, I think.
As in the quality of the 4 heats?
Yeah, look, there's some very, very good greyhounds, Ethanol Water, and, there's some real good. Boracay Summer comes here with amazing form, but there's probably not a greyhound that is, taking the bull by the horns kind of stayer right here, is there? There's no real superstar status type dog, I'd suggest. So I think it's a very winnable Sandown Cup for sure. Did you get that impression when you looked at the heats? I know the numbers are there, but did you have a look at them and go, yeah?
I thought they were very competitive. I thought the quality was slightly better than what I was expecting. I really thought there was danger. There wasn't going to be a full set of 4 heats.
And look, we're not saying this to blame anyone. It's got nothing to do with timing of the race. The Sandown Cup's a great event. Sandown put this on every year, and we have I just think it's the quality of stayer we've got at the moment, and we've had conversations. Is
that seasonal?
Yeah, it can be, but I don't know if you got this text message too, and I won't name the trainer, but there's a theory that we're breeding more for speed than anything else.
Hasn't that always been the case?
Yeah.
And then you get a stayer by fluke?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, have you ever made a decision to breed for strength?
No, probably not. But so then the females are probably worth their weight in gold that can run 700 metres because you have the opportunity of then having that stamina in the pups. So yeah, it's an interesting conversation maybe for another day. And look, let's go through these heats because there's some great ones. But I just looked at it and went, yeah, look, this is going to be a winnable series for anyone that could sort of put their hand up and run 41.70, Jace.
Yep, indeed. All right, busy period coming up here on RSN. Firstly, we've got to get to Sale for the 3rd with our man, the best tennis player in racing of any code, James Van der Mart. Taylor's Girl is a short price favourite at $1.65 from box 2. Here's Jim.
Yes, Jason Adams, RSN 927 on board. I actually did a little twist yesterday running away from one of the kids at Target, and I've tweaked the knee, so there'll be no tennis anytime soon, that's for sure. Too busy for that at the moment, but they're moving in for the 3rd. It's coming good, the knee, though. Shouldn't be too far away. They're getting set for the 3rd. Favourite here, Taylor's Girl. She's rightfully the fave, but I would fear the 3 Black Hoodoo, who does begin relatively well and does carve down to the inside. I thought might even help So Angelic get around. They look the main 3. Set for the 3rd. They're all in at Sale. Set. Off and racing, and Taylor's Girl flew out down low, straight through to lead and set up 2 lengths early over Black Hoodoo, and moving up to 3rd there outside Nitro Moses, a shade wider to Big Bruce, and they've already got away, about 2 or 3 to Go See Ian, a further 5 Lyndon O'Jimmy, then scattered, and right back at the end of the field now Go See Ian, so turning, it's Taylor's Girl leading Black Hoodoo, they're clear to So Angelic, it's still Taylor's Girl, she was pulling out plenty late, Taylor's Girl came away, won it by 2 lengths, beat Black Hoodoo, who ran a nice race, 3rd down the middle. So Angelic just grabs it over Big Bruce. Not a great deal in that. Then Nitro Moses, who was back at the end with Lyndon O'Jimmy scattered. And the runner who dropped right out coming off the back straight was Go See Ian. It's a bit hard to see him in the Sterling sunshine. 24.71 for the favourite Taylor's Girl. She's been brewing a win like that for some time, Taylor's Girl, and she stepped so well down low, went straight through to lead. Black Hoodoo went after her pretty quickly, but at the end was no match, and Taylor's Girl, coast to coast, has won it. And won it quite easily. A daughter of Aussie Infrared, Sally's Return, raced by Justin Bowman at Kilmany for Ricky Umbrasis, has beaten 3 Black Hoodoo. Up for second placing, Suzanne Reaper for W. Hensley. Houdini Boy back to boss, and I think the green gets third. That's now confirmed. So Angelic, daughter of Fernando Bale, Bivouac, raced by William McNeil at Donvale. So the numbers 2, 3, 6 and 8 interim, 2, 3, 6, fourth in was number 8. Time for the journey, 24 and 72. 2 1/4 by 5 1/2.
So number 2, Taylor's Girl, thank you, James, $1.80 and $1.30 for that favourite, boys. Number 3, Black Hoodoo, paid $1.70. 6, So Angelic at $1.30 and 8, Big Bruce, 2, 3, 6 and 8. The Quinella paid $3.20. The Exacta, $3.10. In fact, sorry, $7.20. The Trifecta, $9.80. And the first 4, $66 for 2, 3, 6 and 8. And they're getting close for the first in Sydney, guys. So I'll take our audience there. The first at Randwick, second at Randwick is about to get underway. My apologies. Where it's an overcast day. It's a heavy 8. Molly Burke has a pickup ride with number 14, My Inspiration. Inquistador is the favourite, James McDonald. And on the back of this, we'll go to a Bendigo market for the first with Mark Hunter's selections. Race 1 with Rick McIntosh, and then back to the grey areas. Now here is Randwick race 2.
At 7. So Cold Gin and the Derby Jacket goes forward. And I Am Carrot is the last to move in. Red light is on now. The broadsiding at Darley handicap for the 2-year-olds. 2-year-old race in 2 divisions today. Inquisitor heavily backed and they're off and racing. Southern Prince missed the kick, and Inquisitor's going to settle second last. In the club colours, Herod was one of the first into stride from Cold Gin. And moving forward, I Am Carrot deeper out. Over there on the inside in the red jacket is Burn the Sky, followed by All Star moving up, but it's caught 3 wide in the early stages. Further back to Inquisitor, who advances its position, but it's also caught 3 wide. They're followed then by All Too Clever down on the rails. Just there between runners. Pick it up in a moment. Back second last, Tuto on the outside of Southern Prince. So Hereward got the front here and put right on the bridle by Collett. Hereward in front by a half to I Am Carrot. All Star 3 wide in third, followed by Burn the Sky. On the inside of Cold Gin, then Inquisitor. They're followed by All Too Clever as they come up to the home turn. A half the outside to My Inspiration from Tuto and Southern Prince. So Hereward leads around the turn from I Am Carrot. All Star. Inquisitor pulls to the outside as they straighten up now. And Hereward being cuddled in the lead by a length and a half. Now it's asked to go on with the job. Hereward 2 lengths clear. Do I Am Carrot, Burn the Sky, Cold Gin. Inquisitor still 5 lengths away. Hereward giving a good sight though inside the 150. Burn the Sky, those really knuckling down on the inside. Burn the Sky moved up to Hereward, and Burn the Sky run away from Hereward, and I Am Carrot in third. A gap back to All Too Clever, Southern Prince, then Tuto. Well, Inquisitor was 3 wide the trip. It dropped out. Cold Gin weakened out from My Inspiration. And All Star has dropped right out of it. And another good one for the bookies. Burn the Sky paying $12.80 and $2.80.
Yeah, here it's going to pay $13.80. And when Darren says another good one for the bookies, if you weren't with us, the first winner in Sydney today paid $9 with Tom Berry on board. But Burn the Sky, more to come there. Full result in just a moment at Randwick. Now, ahead of the first this afternoon, about to get underway with Rick McIntosh at Bendigo. And Rick will be along with a preview from race 2 onwards after grey areas. In the first at 12.25, James Jono is the favourite, Tom Stockdale, currently at $2.50 with Bet365. But if it's of interest to you, it's the boost bet up to $3 for Michael Felgate listeners on Racing Pulse this morning. Here's Rick McIntosh. Here's Mark Hunter looking at race 1 for you today at Bendigo.
Well, James Jono, the horse trialled really well at Geelong. I thought it could win at Seymour on debut. It didn't do a lot there, made some ground from the back, but didn't do a lot. Went for a little break, jumped out again, came back to Bendigo the other day and ran really well. Hit a little bit of a flat spot top of the straight, then flattened out and chased hard and just missed. I think fitter, 1,400 metres. In a competitive maiden, it should be able to settle. There's not a lot of speed, settle in the first 3 or 4. So I think James Jono can win to beat number 10, Source of Delight. Ran well last start. It's got the blinkers on first time. It's probably dictated too from that wide gate. Has to go back, but should be running on. I think it's the value runner. 3 I Said So. Stretches out to 400 metres, very close to a win. And I tossed up out of the top 2. I thought maybe number 1, Baker's Bend, was next best. 4-10, 3 and 1.
4-10, 3 and 1 from Mark in the first at Randwick. It's 12, 1, 9 and 13. Race 2, number 12, Burn the Sky, Regan Bayliss, $13.80 and $2.80. 1, Herewood at $1.90. 9 I Am Carrot, $7.10 and 13 All Too Clever. The Quinella, $23. Exacta, $57. Trifecta, $585. And the first 4, $13,002. But there's a jackpot to that of $3,030. And the running double 9 and 12, $154. Jason and George.
Thank you, John. A couple of text messages have rolled in. The first one from our man, Tim from Kilsyth. G'day, gentlemen. Please give me some confidence and tell me you are on my boy, Timmy Zoo, so I can go down and put even more on him. And boys, watch Mr. In Between. It is a must watch. Thanks, boys.
I have to agree with him on Mr. In Between. I think it's the best Australian TV show I've ever seen, so I don't want to add extra TV shows for you to watch.
I only know of The In-Betweeners.
Oh, my God. Please watch Mr. In Between. Anyway, in regards to Timmy Zoo, I think we're on your side here, Tim. I'm not sure where Jason is leaning, but his record from boxes 1 and 2 especially are just unbelievable. He rarely runs a bad race. I think he's drawn to really give this a real shake. Deadly Avenger is racing at an absolute all-time pro level right now, but you'd have to say Tim Zoo's a really big chance as well, Jace.
Yep, he's the number one contender from my point of view as well. Another text message, George, has come in, which is of pretty good interest.
Yeah, g'day guys. Why don't greyhound tracks have track ratings? Clearly on some meetings, tracks can play slower or faster. This distorts greyhound times, makes it hard to pick winners when this happens, Jace.
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's something that's been spoken about forever and a day. The reality is there is track ratings that are used internally from a maintenance point of view. I'm not sure it's of a clarity at this point in time to be able to publish publicly and have people make assessments based on that. And there's different types of rain. I mean, in most cases, the rain will come down, it'll get a bit boggy and naturally a little bit slower. If it absolutely pelts down, it can sometimes compact the surface and become faster. And we've seen that happen a number of times. So there is readings that happen, and they are at a pretty good level, but they are used from a maintenance point of view and mainly the time when the track needs to be harrowed. And if you're not aware by what I mean by harrow on a greyhound track, it's a tractor that goes around, basically digs up the sand, turns it all over, and breaks through those layers that do form on top.
And I suppose it depends on how far you want to go down the hole, Jace, because you're right. The track rating can change 4 or 5 times in one meeting, depending on wind, rain, all sorts of different things going on. We often hear trainers talk about for people that own greyhounds. And if I'm giving an update to some of the syndicate members, I'll tell them the trainer told me that he thinks that the track is 0.2 or 0.3 off because there might have been a headwind or it might have just been a little bit softer underfoot. So, yeah, that would be handy on race day, especially if a greyhound comes out and runs. We've seen greyhounds run 29.10 at Sandown where it's probably a 28.90 run on a track that's a little bit, in better nick. So it's a good point. It's a good point. How far do we go? Do we bring it in? Is technology up to that level yet? It's an interesting question.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing for me to say the ratings are pretty good. It's how the systems and betting apps and whatever it is are actually built to interpret that data. How do we publish that as a business?
Yeah.
That's probably the next thing.
Yeah, because the ratings on horses, like a heavy 6, slow 4, all that sort of whatever it is. I mean, people sort of have got an indication with that. With greyhounds, do we do it by time sort of margins or, you know what I mean? Like, is it 0.2 off or that sort of stuff?
I think they do it in Europe, in the UK.
Yeah. I think wind is a big one too, like running into headwinds.
Particularly at Hillsville, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, great question there. And make sure you attach your name for text messages that come in. But thank you for 245 for getting involved. Now, we don't have a lot of time here, so let's just carve into each of these Sandown Cup heats one by one. The first of them, George, headlined by Alice Babe, who won last Thursday night, albeit it was fortunate, given Len Franco was playing games, but she ran pretty well, and her run-home time was around 10.80, where for a stayer, that's very good.
Yeah, look, I think the class runners are Alice Babe and Max Capacity, the greyhound that we've seen race very well in WA, but also in Sydney. There's a little bit of early speed in this race, so will that set up the race for Alice Babe and Max Capacity? Passmark can begin okay. Double Denim's got some speed. Chickenfish will have speed over this distance. Same with Lakeview Nola at her best as well. So where they all sit on this first corner, it's certainly not a race that I'm clamouring to have a bet in, Jace, that's for sure.
Heat 2, Irish Millie, the defending Sandown Cup champion. She probably went into last year's series as not a major threat, and it's probably the same this time around, but she got the chocolates last time. She meets a pillar from South Australia for Damien Smith, who is doing some really good things, isn't she, George, since she stepped up to 700 metres.
Yeah, and taken some really big scalps. Beat some terrific greyhounds. The interesting runner is Crutching Tommy off box 2. Some of his 600-metre form at his best can be very, very fast, so he's an interesting runner as well. Weston Booney comes here with really solid WA form as well, and Mapunga Surprise, probably not at her best, but at her best would be competitive. But they've come for the 8 here, $1.75, and on its recent form, you'd understand.
Not long till the first at Bendigo. Heat 3, pretty competitive. Lady Wilson trialled well last Thursday night, and then your girl, Shake and Bake, a part of it as well.
Yeah, Lady Wilson, $2.80 favourite. Boracay Summer is the one I'm really keen on. Has settled in Victoria, comes with an unbelievable picket fence in WA, and that's where I'm leaning.
All right, we'll speak about the last heat shortly. In the meantime, let's get the Rick McIntosh for the first at Bendigo, where he's with number 2, Dark Boney.
Contribution to our racing sport and industry here in Bendigo. On the first race is named in her honour, and the last one is about to move in. Source of Delight will be 220 James Jono. He's the top elect. 1,400 metres, and they're off in the opening event on the program. And Dark Bonnie came out pretty well. So also did James Jono and Source of Delight. Sender Telegram's hunting up, and Baker's Bend, after beginning well, is wide and trying to nick back a little now. As I said, so underneath him, and so too Positivo. And right up along the inside, Dark Bonnie. Lord Fox was second last, and last in the run was Temperament. They've got to the 1,000-metre mark here, and they're about to leave the back, and Source of Delight led Sender Telegram, who went up on the outside to race second. James Jono, the favourite, sits in the 1-1, and Baker's Bend is 3 deep. Dark Bonnie's over on the leader's back, but is running 5th, and then followed by I Said So. Positivo was next on the rails, and they've got about 3 lengths in front of the other 2, which are Lord Fox, and with it was Temperament. So up towards the home turn, and Sender Telegram matching motors there with Source of Delight. Now, James Jono got out of the pocket and starts to try and gather them in. Baker's Bend has given full bore on his outside, but is under the whip, and I Said So's coming through. In the meantime, Dark Bonnie's got out, quickly raced up on the outside and took Source of Delight. They were clear from James Jono, but it is going to be soft here. Dark Bonnie runs right up to its run at the Bull, wins by 2 lengths. Second goes to Source of Delight, and third's a photo between Positivo and James Jono, who had every hope. I Said So, I think ditto. They're followed next in the race then by Lord Fox. Baker's Bend got cast wide and dropped out. Sender Telegram was with it, and last every step of the way was Temperament. Dark Bonnie put the writing on the wall, didn't it? At Warrnambool, and wins the Vale, Fiona Ralph here.
So 2.10 and a photo. Dark Bonnie at $5 and $1.80. Luke Curry will beat the 10 Source of Delight.
Bay Girling 3 by Palantino out of Lake Sentencia. And Dark Bonnie ran terrific at Warrnambool and has come back here and won it very nicely. Source of Delight stuck to its guns very well. Jai McNeil for Team Hawks, the 3-year-old by Prince of Caviar. And Positivo, number 7's won that photo for third. Tom Preble for Saab Hassan, just in advance of number 3.
So 2.10, 7 and 3. 2.10, 7 and 3 on the first. Jason and George, I'll clear those when they hit the system. We've got James Vandermart at Sale next in a couple of minutes.
Magnificent. Thank you, Jumping John. 4th and final heat of the Sandown Cup, George. And your girl, Groovebird, jumps in box 2. She will show speed. The competition's pretty strong. Ethanol Water Raiders Guide.
Yeah, and we're coming back from a shoulder injury, so we're going to be completely underdone here. And that's the honest truth with Groovebird. I'm not saying she can't win, but to take on Raiders Guide and
she'll be treading water late. That's what you're suggesting.
I think so. She's had 2 good trials to get here, but there's nothing like race fitness, and you're up against probably one of the best greyhounds we've seen out of Tasmania in decades, and Ethanol Water, who Yes, granted, she's not at her best, Jace, but she comes back to a track where she's got a terrific record and we know she can get to the line tough. So that's a tough little race again.
Yep, that it is, John.
Bendigo, number 2, Dark Bonnie, $5 and $1.80. 10, Source of Delight, $2.70. 7, Positivo, paid $12.20 the place. And 4, James Jono. The Quinella, $46. Exacta, $62. Trifecta, $2,120. And the first 4, race 1, 2, 10, 7 and 4, $9,109. Jason.
All right, we've got Sale Race 4 on our hammer, but we'll just touch on top tips on these Group 1s, George. Sapphire Crown, I'll be with Dashing Slayer. Just don't see a reason to take her on with Gambella, Lakeview Emily drawn to the outside part of the track. She's showing too much speed for anyone to be able to cross her, and we know the overall time will be good enough to win this.
We spoke about whether Dashing Slay is ready to take the crown from Lakeview Emily. I don't think she's taken it yet, but if she beats her again, I think she will. Don't discount Lakeview Emily, though, I reckon. Her record from box 8 is very, very good. And look, the only thing is if Dashing Slay gets held up early from the 4 with the speed there. So again, a battle between them, and we know if any of them get a sit on any of them, it's Gambella. I mean, her run home times, as you suggested last week, were incredible. So can't wait for that race.
And we're both with Tim Zoo in the Harrison Dawson.
Yeah, I think so. I think Deadly Avenger, it really feels bad to tip against him because he did so well for us last week, but I think Tim Zoo is drawn to win the race.
All right, we'll be back here after Sale with the Ferrugia Files. In the meantime, let's get the James for the 4th.
One of the most impressive wins you'll come across, Gambella. And then the star from down this way, down in Meetung, a little further up the highway in Gippsland, Lakeview Emily. She is an out-and-out superstar, and you just know that she's going to make her presence felt. It shapes up to be a terrific night of racing and a great Sapphire Crown as well. So they're moving in, getting set now for the 4th race. Thought Tactician had a good chance in the race, but will need luck from box 5. A get-back run on, who was pretty powerful, 2 back at Sandown Park down in class today. They're set to run. Field in. Race 4 at Sale. They're set now. And they're racing. Tactician and Waikiki Pearl both slow to go, and Smooth Tiger out fast will zip through and lead over Secret Dargan. Whizbang Archers trying to hold up down low. They're racing tight, getting through Slow Cheater, and Tactician starting to wind up from the back. And then Bruce, Spicy Seduction, Waikiki Pearl at the end. They've just packed up at Smooth Tiger leading. Whizbang Archer, but here's Tactician just dropped on them down the centre. And Tactician timed his run to perfection. Strong late. Tactician by 2. Beats Spicy Seduction. 3rd Smooth Tiger, 4th Whizbang Archer, and then Bruce, who had no luck back with Waikiki Pearl, Secret Dargan and Slow Cheater won at the last in. Big display from Tactician. He's just picked them off one by one. 25.09 the time. Well, he was probably always going to need luck in running, and he gets it today, does Tactician. He sat back, let the race unravel, and it's not an easy thing to do to come from last in a 4:35 sprint, but that's what he's done. He's getting smarter, working his way through the pack and just oozing class on his rivals today off that Monday night win at Sandown, a provincial meeting, but still at Sandown. It's a good form line to come into a 300 plus, and he's taken full advantage of that class drop to win. For Lynn Smith at Nambrock, the See the Dream Syndicate start 14 for win number 2. Defeating 6 Spicy Seduction 2nd, Aston Rupee Lavish Diamond. Another one who might have just been back a bit in class. Ran a good race. And number 2 was 3rd Smooth Tiger. Raced by Malcolm Carr, Blends and Cloncurry Girls. So it's 5, 6, 2, 1 the numbers.
5, 6, 2 and 1. I'll clear those shortly, guys. Back to you for a couple of minutes. And then, folks, we've got a preview of Rick McIntosh at Bendigo starting at race 2 with his selection shortly.
All right, rapid fire finish of the show. George, tips at Sandown tomorrow night.
Yeah, I do like race 5, number 2, Boracay Summer. I read an article that had been here for a while. I think it trialled well at Sandown. Its recent form has been absolutely fantastic. Apart from the ones we went through, Jace, later on, race 10, number 1, Poor Oswald. Great race against Mapunga Shine, Poor Vortex, Shimmer Stand, Stomping, Bagman, but I think off the red, Poor Oswald will be hard to beat, race 10, number 1.
All right, magnificent. The coverage tomorrow night at Sandown will be with myself, Corey Smith and Nathan Rooney. You can tune in through Sky Racing Active or the Watchdog app from 6:15. Big night in action. Have you noticed, George, you don't watch watch Sky through your Foxtel box, do you?
No, through the Sky Racing app. Yeah.
It's in HD as of last week, which has been absolutely magic for me.
Brilliant.
So big night ahead there tomorrow night. Now, before we finish up the Ferrugia Files, Bendigo today, race 7, number 4, Libra Court.
No.
Bendigo, race 12, number $8 short.
Place chance.
I can't believe I'm saying this. Casino Tomorrow, race 2, number 7, Absolved.
Place chance.
Warrnambool Tomorrow, race 5, number 7, Duplicitous.
Each way. Mm-hmm.
Race 8, number 6, The Bull, Vital Step.
Tough race, place chance.
Sandown, race 6, number 2, Groovebird.
A bit underdone, so no.
And in the G1, the Harrison Dawson Van Wyck, box 1.
If he runs the place, I'll be wrapped.
Magnificent. Last text message has rolled in. Great show, boys, but seriously, Georgie, if you've got a dog that can spring the boxes and win by 9 lengths, mate, you can't keep that to yourself. You have to let the listeners in on it. Tim from Kilside.
If you're listening, Tom Savalas, I know the truth and so do you. So, mate, we are. I'm on to you. I'll get you back one day, mate.
This is fantastic.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Jason. Thank you,
and
John.
Thank you, John. We'll be back on Friday to wrap up what will be a big night at Sandown tomorrow night.
Good on you guys. Thank you very much. It is 25-1 at RSN Racing and Sport. We've had the first at Bendigo. Here's Rick McIntosh having a look at the meeting and selections from race 2.
Thank you, John. Yes, a big welcome to APM Bendigo, the Nursery of Champions, who are racing on a midweek Wednesday here, 1st of 8 at 12:25. It is a glorious day here in central Victoria. Not sure how long it'll last. The winter chills are starting to come in of a night time here, but at the moment it is absolutely glorious. Track looks fantastic. The rail goes back into true after being out 8 metres for the entirety last time. And the track is rated a good 4 for the meeting. There's just 13 scratchings. All those this morning are out. No late ones. Few riders. Race 1, number 7, Positivo, Tom Preble. Race 2, number 4, Kissing Heart, John Keating. Race 6, number 14, Caillou, is Dean Yendall. Best bets for the program. Race 2, I thought number 2, Final Boy, gave a stack of cheek at Warrnambool. Think it can do the same again. Race 3 is back to a 5-horse field. Vianara, 16 start maiden, draws gate 1. Was good at Warrnambool when it chased home Sophia. I think today might be its day. I'm not sure about the red and whites, but made it the best bet. Race 3, number 4. In the 4th event on the program, looking forward to seeing Shamateur again. He's a Seamus Award sprinter. He was good here last time despite doing a bit wrong. He still found the line at the end of 1,000. It's 1,100 today. I think whatever beats him will win. Race 5 is the first leg of the quaddie. It looks an extremely good race. I was giving those out in the market a little chance. Lesko, the local, and Moonraker, who was good at Warrnambool, I thought might have been overs there, but I thought that was your value leg of the quaddie. The best value of the day's race 6, number 1, Tewkesbury, each way 1 by 2. He's had the 2-mile runs back to fit him up for this. He gets a claim. To claim off that 63, he goes to 2,200 today, which is his pet trip, and I thought he had a great chance each way in a good race. Race 7 of the day looks a pretty good clash here between principally Narbold and Black Storm. Both look ready to win a race. And in the last leg, Mark Hunter's best bet of the day comes up here. It trialled like a jet with Giga Kick. And whatever beats it will win race 8, number 1, Eye the Eagle. But it's a good card, good weather, rails in the 2 and a good 4. All the things we like, John. Good luck.